Good morning. Welcome right here to Gospel Sunrise on WGVE 88.7 on your FM dial. I'm Marvin Lyles. Well, we're 6 minutes past the 10 a.m. hour, and it is another great and gracious day to be in the land of the living. As our temperatures on the outside, it's at a pleasant 39 degrees, and we do have a rainy atmosphere off and on all day long today. But we yet and still count it joy, for this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and we will be glad in it. Well, we're moving right along very speedily today simply because we have so many great things that are happening in the community and in the area. And as many of you know, our doors are always open to positive and inspirational items, people, and things. And today we have a very wonderful presentation we would like to share with you, and I'm very proud to have in the studio here with us today an esteemed and politically involved gentleman. He originally originated out of the state of New York, and he planted himself back here into the state of Indiana by way of Notre Dame, and so he is now what they call a bona fide Hoosier for quite a few years. And as we know, this is a political season, and we're just trying to encourage people to get up and to do something, and we're just encouraging people to get committed and involved so that we can bring about some positive and encouraging changes in our community, and voting is very important, and so we have to have positive leadership. And I am just so happy that this young man, he is making a little detour to be here with us today, and our very own state senator, United States Senator, Mr. Joseph Donnelly, is in the studio here with us this morning, and we're just going to give him a few moments as he's making this appeal and his circulation around Northwest Indiana to encourage everyone for increasing the presence of the voter turnout for Northwest Indiana. And we would like to say good morning to you, Senator Joseph Donnelly.
Good morning, Marvin, and thank you so much for having me with you. My Lord and Savior is Jesus Christ,
Sure.
And it's a privilege to be here.
Well, we know that you're committed to the family. We know that you're committed to your faith, and we know that you're committed to hard work. And that is your mantra, and your challenge is to get everyone to fall somewhat into that same position of being committed to family, faith, and hard work. And so you're in the area today, and you're trying to do some things. And what are some of the things you're trying to do today?
Well, today I'm going to be going to services with Representative Earl Harris, Jr., who is a dear friend. We're going to be spending time together. And what we are hoping is that everyone will vote, because when people's voices are heard, then policies that make sense for American families, for all of us, are the policies that are put in place. One of the sad statistics is that in 2014, Indiana was 50th out of 50 in voter turnout,
Wow.
at 28%, dead last. And you know what? We have it in us to do so much better, to do so much stronger, and we really look forward to it.
Well,
and in fact, I see my friend Representative Harris now.
A rising tide raises all ships, and if everyone is pulling together in unity, you can get to that designated point of very effective and not as hard, but an easy and more effective way, right?
Absolutely. And when everybody's voice is heard, better policies come into place. And so when the whole community is voting, when the whole community is taking that time, then policies that are reflective of the better good are the ones that make it across the finish line.
Well, I have so many wonderful guests coming in today, and we're here just for the encouragement of people, the importance of getting out to vote. We know that early voting registration has concluded, so now you're actually in the game and in the race, and so as you're on the court, it's your turn now for us to throw the ball to you to get out and go and vote. And we're so happy to have our third House representative by way of the second House representative by way of the State Representative Earl Harris Jr. in the House here with us, and we want to say good morning to you also. And we know that you gentlemen are on a whirlwind tour around the area, just trying to let everyone know of the necessity of why it's so important to vote, because we need to be in a position to help Senator Donnelly, as well as the other senators, regain the U.S. Senate and House, right?
Well, the important thing is to have policies in place that will help create more jobs for the people of Lake County, of Gary, of our community, create more opportunities for good education, for skills, for making sure that the American dream that we belong to, that we're part of, that we hope for every day, that the American dream we hand to our kids is even stronger and better than it is for us now. I know Representative Harris works on that every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we are greatly focused on growing Northwest Indiana. You know, one of the things, anyone who's heard me speak has heard me use the phrase, we have so much potential. And when you look at the assets that we have here in terms of all the lakefront property, we have the Gary Airport, we have a great rail system, our proximity to the third largest economy in the country. Those are benefits, those are assets that not only no one else in the state has, but really what other part of the country, very few parts of the country have those types of assets. And so when you look at the career options, the workforce development, and the ability for our young people to have great careers here at home, it just sits here. It's just a matter of getting people informed and getting them skilled up, which is a big focus of ours.
All right. Well, Senator Donnelly, what are some of your other thoughts of how we can encourage people to get out and vote?
Well, just connecting with them, spending time with them, knocking on doors, talking to them, and letting them know where they can vote and what day it's on, and making sure that there's that communication between the person themselves and the chance to go have their voice heard. And we just need to be informative to them. We need to make sure that we're talking to them and that they have a chance to have their voice heard. As Representative Harris was saying, when we have good policies, that means that our kids are getting skilled up, that our kids will be able to get great jobs in the region and be able to live close to home and have every opportunity they ever dreamed of. And our job is to make sure that every voter has a chance to get to the polls.
So as you're relatively new and young, you have a few years under your belt there in the House of Representatives, since you are in a minority as far as Republicans and Democrats. What do you see on the horizon?
Well, we're continuing to, grow Northwest Indiana, push what we have here, bring access here. One of the things I promised, actually, I had people asked me to promise this before I even won the election, is you have to keep us informed with what's going on in Indianapolis, because we know we don't get all that information here. So we're continuing to share everything we can about what's going on there. We're also pushing for, education. We obviously know there's some things going on involving the Gary schools, and so myself and Representative Smith and Brown and the two senators, Randolph and Melton, have been pushing to save public education here in our area. It would be a bad thing to lose the public school system here in Gary. So we're continuing to push that, just continuing to promote the area. One of the things that I've been focused on is pushing tourism in our area. Again, talking about those assets we have, that is an economic windfall.
Sure is.
The state brings in $12.2 billion, that's a B, $billion in tourism, which is up from 2016 when it was, I believe, 10.6. So that's not even fully accessing what we have in this area. So think about the economic development, think about the job opportunities, the career opportunities for people in this area as we continue to grow this. There's a lot of great things going on. Obviously the airport's happening. East Chicago, the lakefront in East Chicago would look completely different come full summertime. Hammond Wolf Lake is being redone. So there's a lot of work in that area that will help draw people in and bring a lot of economic dollars to the area.
Well, Senator Donnelly, what committees are you sitting on there at the Capitol?
I serve on the Armed Services Committee, in particular what's called the Strategic Forces Subcommittee, which deals with missile defense, missile development, nuclear submarines, nuclear carriers, nuclear weapons, North Korea, Iran, similar issues. In addition to that, I serve on banking, and a big portion of our effort is to try to make sure that not only is our system safe and stable, but at the same time that mortgages are available to every family who has a chance to see their American dream come true, that we're in a position where for small businesses that it isn't so taxing and so difficult to get a loan. As long as it's a safe and stable loan, we want to make sure that it can get done. And so I also serve on the Agriculture Committee. 85% of our state is farmland, as you all know. That you go just a little bit outside of Gary, and you can see farms for hours and hours as far as the eye can see. And my job is to work together with our farmers to make sure that not only are we feeding the world and feeding our own communities, but that we're in a position to be the very, very best and the most cutting edge. And then the aging committee, and a big portion of that is designed to try to protect seniors and protect them from scam artists and protect them from being put in a position where everything they've saved for and hoped for all their lives, that somebody's trying, whether it's on the internet or phone or whatever, to create friendships with them, to try to get their resources. And so we work hard to protect our seniors, not only financially but also health-wise, with new prescription developments, with new health developments with our National Institute for Health. And so my job is to try to make it that it's fairly seamless from when you're young to get a great education to when you're a senior, that you get good health care and can retire with dignity. And I know Representative Harris does the same thing.
Can I add something?
Sure.
The senator talked about agriculture, and I know that Gary, Chicago, Hammond are not known for farming, but it's
small farms, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Urban farming
in your backyard. As I, have to go to Indianapolis, drive back and forth on 65, you see a lot. I've had a lot of conversation with Farm Bureau, and one of the things is, again, this is going back to career development for young people. I jokingly tell people, but with some seriousness, is agriculture isn't just dig a hole, drop a seed in, and water it. It's a lot more than that. There's a lot of science to it. So when you have young people that are into science, there's a lot of science into making sure that things grow better, faster, stronger, et cetera. There's also design. When you talk about agriculture, you're not just talking about what you plant, but you're also talking about, say, a business, a building. There's agriculture around that. It's not just cement and concrete and bricks. You see a lot of greenage around those as well. So that's also part of it as well. So there are a lot of career opportunities, even if you don't have a big farm, here in Gary, Chicago, or Hammond in your backyard, you still can get involved in that field.
One of the amazing things is urban farming as well. Mm-hmm. And one of the unique developments, as Earl was talking about technology and technology development, you can take these old shipping containers that have so many of them come here, but there's so much coming from China,
right,
that we don't have the chance to fill up everyone going back. And so you look some places, there's stacks and stacks of these shipping containers. They can retrofit those to be lettuce farms, tomato farms, all of these, so that all the finest restaurants in Chicago, you can, here in Gary, put a couple of shipping containers, and if you set up a water system and an electric system, you can develop and sell to Chicago restaurants the finest tomatoes in the world, the finest lettuce in the world, all right here in our hometown.
Yes. Well, and we're just here to encourage people the necessity of voting, because in the Bible it says when the righteous are in leadership, the people are at peace and they have joy, they have harmony. But when you have the wrong leadership, the people, they're gnashed their teeth together, they're sour and they're disappointed, and things are not as pleasant in their lives if they would hope it to be. And as you have been a senator for how many years now?
I've been a senator. This is my 6th year now.
And so that means that your tenure will allow you to move up.
That's right.
As per who controls the House and the Senate and all that, right?
Yeah.
And so by you moving up and become, if we, let's see, how becoming ranking and a majority member, will that affect Northwest Indiana?
My focus is to help create more jobs here, more opportunity here. And what you just said is one of the most critical things about our jobs, is for our communities, for our state, we want to be aspirational to people. We want them to have positive goals, positive vision. You see so much of politics now where some folks have decided that the way to get ahead is to divide people one against the other. And all that does, as you said, as the Bible said, in division comes heartache, comes separation, comes drifting away from all the good things that you've been taught. And when you bring people together for a common goal, for a a common opportunity to make our country stronger and better. Better educated kids, better educated skills, better job opportunities that are out there. That's how you move forward, and that's what the politics I've believed in has always been about. How do we make lives better for everybody?
So, Representative Harris, as you're networking with the senator here, all of you guys are going to be like-minded so that you can create jobs and opportunities for economic development in this area, right?
Correct. I mean, that's part of what, I'm obviously on the state level. The senator is on the federal level. There has to be a natural partnership if there's going to be
We're a
success.
team.
Yeah, we're a team. Yeah, exactly. It's Team Northwest Indiana. Let's just call it that.
All right.
But we have to make sure that we are working together to bring success, because there's things. I'll give an example. The train, the double tracking, and what goes on with that. Yes, we in the Indiana House and Senate had our part and we played our role, but it's now on the federal level. So again, those partnerships have to be in place, and that's going to be a great economic windfall for all of Northwest Indiana. And part of that, and I always apologize to my friends that live in Illinois, is we're drawing those people over, and that's part of what will draw those people over. They'll bring obviously, they'll come bring their purchasing power in terms of houses, everything else they bring, job opportunities, et cetera. Because the more people we have in the area, the more people want to bring their businesses here because they know they have built-in people to purchase.
And for our young people, for our children, what I encourage so much is that they understand any dream they have can come true. Any dream they have, if they're willing
to work for it and apply their time to it.
Amen. That if their time is applied studying and taking all of the opportunities that are out there, the sky isn't the limit. They can go higher than the sky. It's just unbelievable. We are around the corner from here, and here as well in the region, the best schools in the world. University of Chicago is just around the bend up there. You have Purdue here. You have IU here.
The best medical institutions.
Right, the very, very best. And so right here in Gary, if you study, anything can come true. And that it's such an opportunity, and we want to make sure we're doing our part.
So what you're doing, in other words, you're trying to make sure that you make yourselves visible where you can go around and listen to people and hear what they have to say and their suggestions, right?
Yeah, that's correct. We actually yesterday in East Chicago had the Black Caucus had a town hall, and we're doing town halls all over the state. So Indianapolis was last weekend, East Chicago was this weekend. We've done it the previous 2 years. We've been in Gary, so we're hitting that. And then we do a lot of speaking at different events, talking to churches, talking to community groups, talking to schools. I spoke to a group of students this past week at Hammond, Scott Middle School in Hammond, and talked to them about things that are here in Northwest Indiana, and talk to them about career development, education, etc. So yeah, we're not hiding. We're out there because it's important to expose our young people to opportunities that they normally wouldn't get. If I can add something to it, Marvin, one of the things I realized, and this is not a secret, my father had this seat for 33 years. So I understand that I didn't have the quote unquote normal East Chicago, Gary Hammond childhood because of my father being in the position he is. And so I was exposed to and learned about a lot of things. Well, I also spent 20 years working in public education. So for me, it's important to make sure that our young people learn those same things I learned about when I was growing up. And they should. And I want them to know about the opportunities that are available right here in our backyard.
All right. So let me ask both of you, when Obama was elected, his campaign motto was change. So change. Did it happen where the majority of the people were happy? If you guys get into the position where you can make change, will it be an effect that people can see where they will become happy from it?
Our change now is to bring people back together again. We have a nation where it can be so partisan at times, but we're not Democrats or Republicans first. We're Americans first. And when you saw President Obama talk about change, what he wanted to make sure was that everybody had a shot. Everybody had a chance at the American dream. And when he first took office, because of the incredible economic downturn that had occurred, unemployment was 20% in a lot of different pockets here in our state. When President Obama left office, it was at about 4% or less. An amazing economic turnaround. And what he said is, if we work hard, We do everything we can. We can do this together. And he always appealed to the better angels of folks. And that's what we're trying to make sure can continue, is that instead of division, that when Gary works together, when Region works together, when Northwest Indiana works together, the 1 + 1 actually equals like 6.
Yeah,
Sure. Well, this is the Gospel Sunrise. We do weekend gospel here on WGVE. And your thing today, Senator and State Rep, is to share and network with the churches. Many churches have opened the doors for you to come in, just to help encourage the people, the need and the necessity to get out and vote, and to encourage other people to follow suit, right?
Correct. We've shown here in Northwest Indiana the value of our vote, and we have to make sure that everyone knows it's the old phrase is your vote is your voice. And so we want to make sure that everyone knows the importance of that and the importance of getting out and voting, because it will affect you. If the incorrect people get in office, they can do damage that will affect you for decades, and we can lose things that we've had. So we want to push people and let them know that your vote does count. I know I've talked to people, and some people think, I'm just one vote. Well, their elections have been lost and won on one vote.
Correct.
So you want to get out and be part of the system, and also learn about the candidates. Listen to what they have to say. And then what I tell people, especially young people, is if you have an opportunity to talk to someone that's either in office or running for office, ask them questions. If they don't want to talk to you, if they don't want to engage to you, there's a serious message there. So we as elected people, that's what we should be doing, is talking to everyone and getting information, not only sharing information, but also getting information back from them.
All right. Well, Senator?
I just wanted to say that Representative Harris' job, my job, is to be good stewards for what we turn over to our children, to try every day
to leave it better than what you found.
A little better than what we found.
Sure.
And we ask the good Lord for his help in all of those efforts every day.
All right. Well, gentlemen, I know you are on a schedule, and they're telling me you're going to have to make your way over to the Chicago-Gary International Airport, over to the B. Coleman Aviation Hangar for another session. Mm-hmm. And so if anyone would love to see you face-to-face today, they can go right on over there at 11:30 to 1:30. You'll be there.
Correct.
And then you'll be headed somewhere else.
I'm going to be going to services now in East Chicago, and then going over to visit with Representative Harris as well at the airport.
All right, so
Can I add something?
Sure.
We're going to the airport. This is the second thing I've had at the airport. One of the things I'm doing is I want to promote that airport. I think a lot of people don't understand what I started calling it the shining star. What a shining star that is for our area. It's not an airport that's a little cornfield. I mean, it is an airport with beautiful hangars, great planes. I was in a plane at a meeting. They took me in a plane, and this thing was like a hotel room that flew. You walked up, and it had couches, it had chairs, it had tables. It had 2 bedrooms and showers in the back.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, Unfortunately, it cost a little bit more than I could afford, but I mean, something like that is sitting in our backyard.
Well, I got one over on the west side of the airport, man, and that's the one that's not running.
But that's one of those things where that's sitting right here, and a lot of people don't know what kind of planes and what kind of things happen at that airport.
Well, it's been so many great buildings, so many great avenues of progress that has not been utilized to its fullest extent. And we've been talking over a lot of these same issues for years and years and years. So how do we, gentlemen, really finally make all of this stuff bloom?
Well, at the airport, we are putting in a customs section. And what that'll enable us to do is to be able to have freight come in to Gary, whether it's from Japan or Korea or anywhere in the world, that when freight's coming into our region, instead of going to O'Hare and having to sit for like 6 days because it's so backed up in O'Hare all the time, that right here in Gary, we can process that freight because the runway was expanded recently, that our runway can land any plane in the world. Witness the president coming here to go home, and President Obama at the time. And so we expect there'll be huge customs and freight development over in that region there. Boeing Corporation, which builds most all the planes that are flying around, their corporate hangar is at the Gary International Airport.
Right there on the north end of the
And the reason they have it there is it's one of the most convenient places for them. Additionally, as Midway expands with Southwest, it is becoming more and more difficult for them to have private planes land there. The natural alternative for that is Gary. And so I think much of the Midway private plane business that you see, Southwest is going to continue to expand. They'll be coming over here.
All right.
Well, and you also have, this is one of the things I also tell people, is everything costs less on this side of the state line. You know, we get a lot of people that come over and buy their groceries over here from Illinois. They buy their gas over here. Well, when you talk about planes, as the senator just mentioned, there's people that are keeping their planes here because it costs less to keep them in Gary, at the Gary Airport. It also costs less for fuel. So those are some of the other economic benefits of Northwest Indiana.
Well,
it's just a great place to be.
We're looking for a lot of great things to happen between the representative of the state of Indiana and the senator of the United States Senator of Indiana. Any closing comments, gentlemen?
Well, maybe what we should also do is encourage him to have a flight to Florida every once in a while during the winter.
Yes, sir. Well, I think that can happen. We sowed the seed and we put it in the atmosphere, so
Amen.
It will probably come
Just
to
how
pass.
Privileged we are to be on this show with you, that you spread the gospel of Jesus Christ, that you touch the hearts of people all over the region, and it's a real privilege to be with you.
Sure. Well, they say you're supposed to let your light so shine that people can see the good works of the Lord that worketh through you. And I want to compliment you, gentlemen, for shining your lights, and just continue to let it shine and shine bright.
Thank you so very much.
All right. Anything else?
I want to echo what the senator said, and then also go back to something else he said, which I believe has to do with us working together and being the children of God, is working together. You know, it's not about the R, it's not about the D, it's about the we. And I want to make sure that we all know that we're all in this together, no matter which side of the political realm you live on. We're, you know, as Senator said, we're citizens of the state of Indiana, we're citizens of the state of the United States, etc. So we need to work together and make sure that, you know, we know and teach our young people that it's about us being a team.
All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you once again.
God bless you.
Godspeed into whatever direction and whatever cause you are pushing forward.
God bless. Thank you so much.